Hey friends, so it's late at night, looking down on some beautiful places in Eretz Yisrael. I'm just a little bit, I wouldn't say scared, but lonely. And I wanted to share some Torah with you on this beautiful night in the base in the holy land of Israel. So the topic of tonight is, what should we do to protect our soldiers, to protect our friends, to protect the holy Yidden of Eretz Israel? So obviously the answer is, well, we should fight. And I think that's clearly the Torah perspective, that we need to be men of action. Read about Avram Avinu taking up war and the four kings. Right in the beginning of the Torah, we read about the entire book of Yeshua, David HaMelech, all throughout Sefer Malachim. There's literally dozens of stories of the Jewish people fighting. So obviously, just like Yaakov Avinu, when he was dealing with Esav, we need to wage a physical battle. The question is, what else when we have free time, when we're not immersed in the physical battle? What about all the rest of us that aren't, going hand-to-hand combat in Gaza? So the answer, obviously, is do mitzvahs, pray, and learn Torah. So that's what this year is, to mechazik that inyan, part 2, about strengthening our faith, that our Torah really protects us. So I wanted to give a few Talmudic sources on this topic. Let's start from the Gemara in Eruvin. Amar Rav Yirmiyah ben Elazar. Rav Yirmiyah ben Elazar says, Kol bayit shenishma'in bo divrei Torah balayla. Any house where there's Torah heard at night. And again, remember, there wasn't electricity back then. And if there's Torah learning, shuv eino necharav, it will not be destroyed. Shenemar, lo amar ayeh Elohai asai natan zmira balayla. As it says, but no one says, where is God my maker, who gives songs in the night? So this pasuk is telling us that if you sing the songs of Torah, you won't need to lament the destruction of your home. So we see the Gemara in Eruvin is teaching us, learn Torah at night, i.e. during free time, and dafka at night, when the Rambam says the ikar of Torah is acquired at night, so that can protect us. Let's keep going. There is a Gemara in Shabbos which talks about David HaMelech. Kol yom d'shabta aviyate v'garis kuli yoma. All Shabbos long, David HaMelech would learn Torah. Ha'u yoma d'bai lemenach nafshe. That day that the angel of death came to take his life. Kam malach hamavet kameh v'lo yachaleh. The angel of death came to take his life, but he couldn't do it. The lo avi pasek pume begirsa, because David HaMelech would not stop learning Torah. Amar my avidle. He says, what am I going to do? Said the angel of death. Havale bustana acharei beite. So there was a garden behind his house, David HaMelech's house. Asa malach maves slik uva chesh bilane. And I guess he made noise, and David HaMelech went to see what's happening with the rustling of the leaves. Nafek lemechse, and he fell down the steps. Havasalik bedarga ipcha darga bintute ishtek v'nachanafshe. So when he was going down the steps to see the bustan, he fell down and he died. So we see that when you're learning Torah, the angel of death has no power upon you, apparently. Although you could also infer from this Gemara that when this is not an infallible, when Hashem decides to take your life, he'll find a way to take your life. But at the same time, we do see that the Torah is a protection. It could be likened perhaps to a gun. A gun can help protect a person from terrorists, but it doesn't mean that no one who has a gun has ever died. Maybe that's a coarse analogy, but one could put it like that. Okay. Let's continue. We'll see if we can get through many sources strengthening this idea. Gemara in Megillah, Daf Yud Aleph Amud Aleph teaches, Rabbi Elazar patach le'pitchei lahai parshata. Rabbi Elazar taught the following. regarding the time of Haman. Why did this happen, that this decree came upon them? Because of the laziness in Torah. Made Hashem poor, ve'ein mach ela ani. And mach always refers to a poor person. So we see that when we're learning Torah, that can protect us, and when we're not, that can have a negative effect upon us. Shelo neda. Okay, let's continue. A few more sources. The Gemara in Ketubos teaches. Machriz Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said, Hizaru mizvuvei shabale ratan. Be careful from the flies of men who have ratan, which is some sort of disease. Zera wouldn't go to the wind of someone who had this disease. I guess he knew about, bacteria could spread. Corona. Eliezer would not go into the tent of someone who had this disease. Rabbi Asi, lo avi achli mibeidai mavoa. Rabbi Asi wouldn't eat from the alleyway which had someone of this disease. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Mechru bu'u ba'asik b'Torah. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi would just learn Torah. Amar yayelet aovim yayelet chen. Said the Torah brings chen upon a person. Im chen mala lomdea agone lo magna. So if it puts chen upon a person, will it not protect them also? So we could see that there's different rabbis who took different perspectives. Some of them were more, I guess, practical, which is certainly the approach of our rabbis during the corona pandemic, that we should not just rely upon, learning Torah, but you also have to take practical considerations. Don't rely upon a miracle. Rabbi Yeshua felt that Torah is so strong that it could even protect a person, and he wouldn't be concerned about this disease. Of course, we take practical considerations into account, but it's not to say that the Torah does not have a power. Gemara in Sota Daf Chaf Aleph Amar Aleph writes, Amar Rav Yosef, mitzvah be'idne da'asik be magnu matzle. In the lo asik be agone magne atzuli lamatzla. A mitzvah, when you're immersed in it, it both protects you and protects you from the Yetzer Hara. When you're not immersed in it, then it will protect you, but it doesn't save you from the Yetzer Hara. Torah ben be'idne da'asik be ben be'idne lo asik be magana umatzla. Torah, whether you're immersed in it or not immersed in it, it could still protect and save you from the Yetzer Hara. So again, we're seeing the power of Torah, that certainly when you're learning it, but even kanireh, when you're not learning it, it could still have some sort of spiritual effect upon you, and as we'll see, even upon those who are surrounding you. Okay, let's continue to see that in our sources. So, Gemara and Baba Metzia Daf Pei Vav Aleph writes, Shadru Shlicha Betrei Lo Avi Matzi Malach Mavet Lamakarvle Midelo Avi Kapasik Pume Migirse. This story is very similar to the one with David Melech. The angel of death came to approach Rabbi Baruch Nachmani and to take his life, but he couldn't touch him because he was studying Torah. And here too, Nashav Zika, the angel of death, blew a wind. Kane Savar Gudna, and he thought, maybe it's the government that's coming to get him. Amar Tenach Nafshe Deu Gavra Veloyim Sar Bidei de Malchut. He said, better that I should die than I should be captured by the government. And he passed away. But we see that when he was studying Torah, his life was protected. The Gemara in Sanhedrin, in fact, says that this idea is so crucial, that one who does not believe that Torah protects is considered a heretic, an apikoros. Apikoros kegon man. Who's an apikoros? Amar Rav Yosef kegon hani da amrei ma'anan la rabbanan ladidu. What do these rabbis help us? Kar Lididu Tano. They learn, they do it for themselves. They learn Mishnah, they learn Torah. They're not benefiting us. Amalei Abaye, I'm Megalapani Torah. He's also disgracing the Torah. Dechtiv, Im lo briti yomam alayla chukat shemayim haaretz. If not for my covenant of Torah study, then the whole heaven would disappear. So we see that, again, from this Gemara, that the rabbis believe that you're a heretic if you don't believe that Torah is protecting the whole community. Gemara in Makos says an interesting story. I'm going to skip this just for time. Let's skip to the Mishnah in Chagiga. Rabbi Yudan Chagiga Aleph Zayin. Parak Aleph Mishnah Zayin. Rabbi Yudan Nisiya Shlach Rabbi Chiel Rabbi Asa Rabbi Imi Limiavor Bekareta Da'ara D'Yisrael. So Rabbi Yudah the prince sent Rabbi Chia, Rabbi Asi, and Rabbi Imi to tour the lands of Israel in order to give them Torah and Mishnah teachers. He went to town and they couldn't find any Mishnah or Chumash teachers. Amarlai Aisan La Nuturi Karta. He said, who are the garters of the city? Aisan La Santure Karta. They brought them the stewards of the town. Amalan Elan and Nuturi Karta. These are not the those who guard over the town. Leidlan Elecharuve Karta. Those are the destroyers. Amarlan Uman Ina Nuturi Karta. So really, who are the Nature Karta? Safraya Matnana. It's those who are learning and teaching Torah. Those are the protectors. Similarly, the Midrash Rabbah teaches, Amar of Abba Barkana, Lo amdu filosofim ba'olam kebilam ben ba'or. It was uke ambonos agardi. There is no wise men like Bilam and this man Ambonus. So all of the world came to him and said, how do we get rid of this nation, Jewish people? Go check out their synagogues and their Batei Midrashiyot, their schools of Torah. If you find children learning Torah, then you have no shot. If not, then you have a chance. That's what their father told them. At the time when their children are studying Torah, then Esav has no chance against them. Similar theme of the dangers, so to speak, of not upholding Torah study is in the story of Amalek. Midrash and Beshalach teaches, Ve'ava Amalek v'yilachem am Yisrael. Amalek came and warred the Jewish people. Eliezer ben Chisma Omer, Eliezer taught, Mikra zerashim m'farashu ha'idei Iyov. This is actually, can be understood through Iyov. Shneimar, ha'yig'eh gomeh b'lo b'itza. Can a rush shoot up without water? Shem she'iev shar kach iev shal Yisrael lichot elim ken mitaskim b'divrei Torah. Just as you can't have a reed grow without water, the Jewish people can't grow without words of Torah. And because they weren't studying Torah, that's when Amalek came upon them. And then what happens? Amalek attacked. Similarly, Acherim taught Ein Refidim Ele Sharafu Yidem Min Torah. Why was a place called Refidim? Because they were weak in their Torah study. Lefichach Amalek Baalim, and that's why Amalek was able to come upon them. Let's do two more sources. Tamna Dvei Eliyahu Zuta writes, Chol Yom Yotzim Malachei Chabal Lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every day there are angels of destruction for Hashem. Chabel Kolam Kula, to destroy the whole world. Yomala Bate Knesset to Bate Midrashiyat Shayu Talmidei Chachamim Yoshvim Ben Voskin B'Divrei Torah Hayim Mechablim Et Kolam Kola Olam Kula Miyad. Not for the study of Torah, these disastrous, destructive angels would immediately destroy the world. We'll end with a Gemara, which I quoted last time. I want to just read it inside. It's one that's very powerful for me personally. The Gemara in Megillah and Daf Yud Aleph, Gimel, teaches, explaining the angel that suddenly approaches Yoshua. It's written, Yoshua was in Jericho. He lifted up his eyes. There was a man who stood corresponding to him, and he bowed. He gave him muster. He said, yesterday you stopped bringing the korban tamid, Yoshua, I guess because they were in the midst of warfare, and now you're not learning Torah, apparently with his free time. He said, which sin did you come to give me a rebuke for? Atabati. Now I came. I.e., referring to the fact that he wasn't learning Torah with his free time. It says, Yeshua came and went in the midst of the Emek. He immersed himself in the depth of halacha. Shmuel Bar Unya comes to teach us that Talmud Torah is greater even than bringing of sacrifices, but this refers to the teaching of the Torah to the masses. And again, it's personally strong that Gemara, because very similar to the situation. Certainly, I'm not Yeshua, but we're in a war, and obviously, when you have to be, have your gun out, you're not going to be opening up your Gemara. But when there's free time, and here in the bases in Israel, there's a lot of free time, then really this Gemara is strengthening our importance of us dafka learning Torah when we're in the midst of the army. Of course, when you're not in the battlefield, that's important too, but even more so perhaps when we have free time in the army. So these concepts are developed more by the Nefesh HaChaim and other Kabbalists, but we see from the Talmud, it's all over the place, the importance of Torah study to protect the Jewish people. Obviously, as I mentioned in the beginning, this is not to come to the exclusion of practical action. So I think I could say that as I'm in the Israeli army as we speak. But it's also definitely could be a chizuk to understand how important every word of Torah is. So I hope you enjoyed this. All these sources were taken from an article online by Irrationalist Modocs. You can check it out for yourself. Something very nice. You did a great job. And I hope you all are safe and happy wherever you are at. If you have any comments, send me an email, keithflax@gmail.com, or send me a WhatsApp. And I hope you have a beautiful day.